Catherine Reeds slammed the bathroom door just as her phone slipped from her wet fingers and clattered against the sink. "Don't die on me," she whispered. Not to the phone, but to the voice that had been fading on the other end moments ago. Her mother's breathing had been shallow, uneven. The nurse's tone calm but final. "You need to come in, and you need to settle the outstanding balance tonight." Tonight, Catherine pressed her forehead to the cracked mirror, eyes burning. She checked her bank app again even though she already knew the number. It hadn't changed in the last 10 minutes. $0. She laughed once, sharp and ugly, then dragged a hand down her face. There was no one left to call. No family. No friends with money. No miracles waiting in the wings. The bass from the club outside the bathroom vibrated through the walls, rattling her bones. She had taken this job pouring drinks because it paid cash nightly, because desperation had made her flexible with dignity. But tonight, dignity wouldn't keep her mother alive. Catherine squared her shoulders and walked back onto the floor. The club was packed, heat, perfume, bodies pressed too close. She weaved through tables, forcing a smile, delivering drinks she barely remembered taking orders for. Her eyes kept drifting to the VIP section upstairs, roped off and glowing gold. That was where the money sat. She had never gone up there, not once, until a man in a black suit caught her staring. He didn't wave, didn't beckon. He simply looked at her, slow, assessing, like he already knew the answer to a question she hadn't been asked yet. Her pulse stuttered. The manager appeared at her side. "Table 12 wants you upstairs." Catherine's mouth went dry. "Why me?" He shrugged. "They asked." She hesitated for half a second. Then she nodded. The stairs felt longer than they were. Each step tightened something in her chest. When she reached the top, the noise dimmed, replaced by low conversation and clinking glasses. The man stood when she approached. Up close, he was worse. Taller, broader. His face was calm in a way that suggested nothing rattled him. Dark eyes.
No smile.
"Catherine," he said like he'd practiced it. "Yes."
I'm Billy Donovan.
She waited for the rest. It didn't come. He gestured to the seat across from him.
Sit.
She sat. He studied her openly now, not leering, calculating. She felt exposed in a way she'd never experienced before. "You look like someone who needs something," Billy said. Her throat tightened. "I'm working." "I know." He slid a drink toward her. "You're also shaking." Catherine didn't touch the glass. "If this is about..." "It's about money," he interrupted calmly. "Yours." Her heart slammed hard enough to hurt. He leaned back. "How much?" She swallowed. "How much for what?" "For tonight." Silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating. Catherine stood abruptly. "I think you should ask someone else." Billy didn't stop her, didn't raise his voice. "Your mother is in St. Luke's Hospital." Her knees nearly buckled. She turned slowly. "What did you say?" "She needs surgery. The bill is overdue." He paused. "And she doesn't have long." Rage flared, sudden and blinding. "You had me investigated?" "Yes. That's sick. It's thorough." She stared at him, chest heaving. "You don't get to do this. You don't get to." "I get to offer you a solution," Billy said. "And you get to decide if pride matters more than her life." Her hands curled into fists. "How much?" He named the number. Her breath left her lungs. "That's impossible," she said. "It's already transferred," he replied. "Pending your agreement." She laughed weakly. "You think I'm stupid?" Billy pulled out his phone, turned the screen toward her. The notification glowed there, real and merciless. Her vision blurred. "This isn't a transaction," she whispered. "This is coercion." He stood, closing the distance between them. "This is reality." She looked up at him, hatred and fear tangling into something dangerous. "And after tonight?" "There is no after," Billy said. "You walk away. Debt cleared." She searched his face for deception and found none. That terrified her more than lies would have. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. A text from the nurse. "Please come now." Catherine closed her eyes. Okay, she said. Billy nodded once. Good. The hotel suite was silent in a way that made every breath echo. Catherine stood near the door, arms crossed tightly over her chest. We should get this over with. Billy removed his jacket with unhurried precision.
Sit.
She didn't move. You said one night. No control.
No.
He turned to face her. You're allowed to leave at any time. She scoffed. And lose the money? He met her gaze. Yes. That stopped her. Sit. He repeated, softer now. She did. The space between them hummed with tension. Billy poured himself a drink, then set it aside untouched. You're angry, he said. You bought me. I paid for your choice. Her laugh was brittle. You're unbelievable. And you're terrified, he countered. But you're still here. Her voice shook. Don't psychoanalyze me. Then don't pretend you're powerless. Something snapped. I am powerless, Catherine shouted. You think I'd be here if I had options? Silence swallowed her words. Billy studied her for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, he said, I didn't intend to touch you. She froze. What? I wanted to see if you'd come, he said. If you'd choose survival over resentment. Her pulse raced. This is a game to you? No, Billy said. It's a test. Of what? He stood, closing the distance again, but stopped short. Of how far desperation can bend before it breaks. Her voice dropped. And what happens if I break? His jaw tightened. Then I lose. She stared at him, confusion warring with fury. You're sick. Yes, he agreed calmly. But I'm honest. Her phone rang again. She didn't answer. Billy glanced at it. Go see her. What? The money's yours regardless, he said. Tonight doesn't need to continue. Her breath hitched. Why? He stepped back. Because now I want you to stay. The words sank into her like a slow-burning flame. She stood, legs unsteady. This changes everything. Billy's gaze darkened. It changes nothing. She walked past him, fingers brushing the door handle. Every instinct screamed to run. She stopped. Slowly, Catherine turned back. You said this was one night, she said. Billy nodded. She met his eyes. Then don't lie to me. I won't. Her heart pounded. Tell me why you really chose me. He didn't answer immediately. When he did, his voice was low. Because you didn't beg. The door clicked shut behind her, and Catherine Reeds stepped fully into the dark. Catherine didn't sleep. She lay on the edge of the bed, fully clothed, staring at the faint line of light under the curtains as if it were a lifeline. The city hummed beyond the glass, alive and indifferent. Every few minutes, her phone buzzed with updates from the hospital. Vitals stabilizing, surgery scheduled, payment received, paid. The word made her chest ache. Billy sat in the armchair near the window, sleeves rolled up, collar undone. Scrolling through something on his phone like this was just another night. He hadn't touched her. He hadn't tried. That somehow made it worse. You can stop pretending I'm not here, Catherine said finally, her voice rough. Billy glanced up. I wasn't pretending. She pushed herself upright. Then what were you doing? Giving you space. She laughed under her breath. You don't strike me as the type. No, he agreed. I don't. They stared at each other. The tension between them was coiled tight, restless. You said this was one night, she said again, as if repetition could anchor the truth. It was. And yet, she gestured vaguely around the room. You're still here. I'm still here. And nothing about this feels finished. Billy stood. The movement was unhurried, but her body reacted anyway. Pulse jumping, muscles tightening. You're right, he said. It isn't finished. Her stomach dropped. Then you lied. No, he said calmly. I changed my mind. That's not better. It's honest. She slid off the bed, putting distance between them. You don't get to change the rules after trapping someone. He watched her carefully. You weren't trapped. You knew I'd say yes. I knew you'd choose your mother, Billy corrected. I didn't know what you'd choose after. Her nails bit into her palms. And now I'm curious. The word unsettled her more than threats would have. About what? About how someone like you survives, he said. You're angry, scared, proud, and still standing. Most people fold. She scoffed. You're romanticizing desperation. No, he said. I'm respecting it. Silence stretched again. Catherine felt the weight of exhaustion press down on her shoulders. She hadn't cried yet. That scared her. I want to go to the hospital, she said quietly. Billy nodded. I'll have a car take you. She blinked. You're not coming?
No.
Relief flickered, then something sharper followed it. Disappointment. She hated herself for that part. Why? She asked. Because if I go, Billy said, this stops being your life and starts being mine. She studied his face, searching for manipulation, but found only restraint. I'll call you, she said before she could stop herself. Billy's eyebrow lifted slightly. You don't owe me that. I know. She grabbed her coat and left. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and old fear. Catherine sat beside her mother's bed, holding her thin hand, watching her chest rise and fall. Machines beeped steadily, reassuring and cruel all at once. You're okay now, Catherine whispered. I've got you. Her mother stirred, eyes fluttering open. Kathy, I'm here. Tears finally came, hot and uncontrollable. Catherine bowed her head, pressing her face into the blanket, letting the sobs shake out of her. You paid, her mother murmured weakly. How? Catherine swallowed hard. I figured it out. Her mother squeezed her fingers with surprising strength. Be careful what you give away. The words landed like a warning. 3 days passed. Billy didn't call. Catherine returned to work, her body moving on autopilot. Every sound felt too loud. Every touch made her flinch. She checked her phone constantly, then hated herself for it. On the 4th day, a black car waited outside her apartment. She stopped short on the sidewalk, heart slamming. The driver stepped out. Ms. Reeds, Mr. Donovan would like to see you. Her first instinct was to run. Her second was to laugh. Of course he would. She slid into the back seat, tension winding tighter with every mile. Billy's office occupied the top floor of a glass tower that pierced the sky. Everything inside was steel and quiet confidence. Catherine felt small the moment she stepped in, and resented him for it. Billy stood near the window, hands in his pockets. You didn't call, she said. You came anyway. That's not the same. He turned. You look tired. She crossed her arms. You don't get to comment on me. Fair. They stared at each other again, the air thick with unspoken things. Why am I here? Catherine asked. Billy walked toward his desk, picked up a folder, and slid it across to her. She didn't touch it. I'm not signing anything. It's not a contract. She hesitated, then opened it. Inside were medical reports, her mother's, follow-up care, long-term treatment plans. All covered, Billy said. Indefinitely. Her breath caught. I told you the deal was done. It is. Then why do this? Because I want to, he said simply. Her voice trembled. You think money gives you access to my life?
No, Billy replied.
I think money removes obstacles. Access is still your choice. She slammed the folder shut. Stop pretending this is noble. I'm not pretending anything. She took a step closer, anger blazing. You enjoy this, watching me react, testing how far you can push. His jaw tightened. I enjoy clarity. Well, here it is, she snapped. You scare me. The words hung heavy between them. Billy didn't look away. Good. Her stomach twisted. You're admitting it? I don't want you comfortable, he said. Comfort breeds lies. She shook her head. You're dangerous. Yes. And you still want me here? His gaze darkened. I want you to stop pretending you don't want to be. Her breath hitched. That's not true, she whispered. Billy stepped closer. Close enough that she could feel the heat of him, smell his cologne. Something dark and restrained. Then leave, he said softly. Her feet didn't move. His voice dropped. You didn't come here to say no. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. You don't know me. I know you came back, Billy said. I know you didn't block my number. I know you're standing right here instead of walking away. She looked up at him, eyes shining with fury and something else she refused to name. You're turning this into something ugly, she said. It already is, he replied. The difference is whether we lie about it. She swallowed. What do you want? Billy's expression shifted just slightly. Something raw flickered beneath the control. I want honesty, he said. I want to know what you'd choose if money wasn't forcing your hand. Her voice broke. I don't know anymore. That, Billy said quietly, is the first honest thing you've said. Silence wrapped around them, heavy and electric. Finally, Catherine stepped back. I can't do this today. Billy nodded. Then don't. She headed for the door, heart pounding. Catherine, he called. She paused. This isn't a debt, Billy said. It's an invitation. She didn't turn around. I didn't say yes. You didn't say no. She left, her thoughts in chaos. And for the first time since that night at the club, Catherine realized the most dangerous thing about Billy Donovan wasn't his power. It was the way he waited. Catherine tried to pretend her life hadn't shifted. She went to the hospital every morning before work, sat with her mother, argued with doctors, memorized medication schedules. She cooked cheap meals at night, folded laundry, paid rent early for the first time in months. From the outside, everything looked normal. Inside, nothing was. Billy Donovan occupied a quiet, relentless corner of her mind. Not loudly, not obsessively. He was just there, in the pauses between thoughts, in the silence before sleep, in the way her phone felt heavier in her hand. He didn't call. That unsettled her more than if he had. A week passed, then another. On the 12th day, Catherine came home to find her apartment door ajar. Her heart slammed. She froze, listening. Silence. Slowly, she pushed the door open. The lights were on. Her space looked untouched. No overturned furniture, no signs of a break-in, except for the envelope on the kitchen table. Her name was written on it in clean, deliberate handwriting. Catherine didn't sit. She didn't breathe. She crossed the room and opened it with shaking fingers. Inside was a single card. Dinner. Tonight. No pressure. If you don't come, this ends here. An address followed. She read it 3 times. This ends here, she whispered. That was what she wanted. What she'd been telling herself she wanted. She checked the clock. 2 hours. The restaurant was quiet, intimate, tucked away from the city's noise. Candlelight, low voices, no music loud enough to intrude. Catherine hesitated at the entrance, scanning the room. Billy stood when he saw her. Her stomach flipped traitorously. You came, he said. I came to end this, she replied. Of course. He pulled out a chair. She didn't thank him when she sat. They studied each other in silence. You look better, Billy said. My mother's improving. I know. Her jaw tightened. You don't need constant updates. I want them. She exhaled slowly. That's the problem. A waiter approached. Billy ordered without looking at the menu. Catherine didn't bother. So, she said once they were alone again, this is your last move? Billy considered her. It's yours. She laughed softly. You really believe that? Yes. She leaned forward. Then let me be clear. I'm not for sale. Not anymore. Whatever this is, whatever you think it could be, it stops tonight. Billy didn't interrupt. He waited. Her voice shook despite her effort. You used my worst moment as leverage. You scared me. You still scare me. I can't build anything real on that. Silence settled between them. When he spoke, his voice was low. You're right. That wasn't what she expected. He continued. What I did stripped you of choice. I won't pretend otherwise. Her breath caught. I won't touch you, Billy said. I won't offer money. I won't interfere with your life. Then why am I here? She asked quietly. Because I want you to see me without the leverage. he replied. And decide. Her eyes burned. You don't deserve that chance. I know. The food arrived. Neither of them touched it. You could have disappeared, Catherine said. You're powerful enough. Why risk hearing no? Billy's mouth curved humorlessly. Because I'm tired of taking what people give me out of fear. She studied him, seeing cracks she hadn't before. And you think I'd give you something else? I think you already did, he said. You came. Her heart pounded. Don't romanticize this. I'm not, Billy said.
I'm stating facts.
She pushed her chair back slightly, creating distance. This ends tonight. Yes, he said. It does. She stood. He didn't stop her. At the door, she paused. You don't always get closure, she said without turning. Billy's voice followed her. I know. She left. 2 days later, her mother collapsed. Catherine was at work when the call came. She didn't remember getting to the hospital. Only the smell of antiseptic flooding her senses, the frantic movement, the doctor's grave expression. Complications. Unexpected. Surgery needed again. But it's covered, Catherine said desperately. Everything's covered. The doctor hesitated. There are delays. Her heart dropped. What kind of delays? Authorization, he said carefully. Some payments were withdrawn. The world tilted. Withdrawn. She didn't think. She didn't hesitate. She called Billy. He answered on the first ring. What did you do? She demanded, voice shaking. Nothing, he said calmly. I stepped back, like you asked. You pulled the funding. I never promised permanence, Billy replied. And I told you I wouldn't interfere. Her hands trembled. This isn't interference. This is punishment. Silence. Then, quietly, is she in danger? Yes, Catherine snapped. And you know it. I didn't touch the account, Billy said. But I can fix it. Her chest tightened painfully. At what cost? None, he said. Come to me. We'll talk. She laughed hysterically. You think I trust you? I think you trust that I won't let her die. Billy said. The truth of that crushed her. She arrived at his office an hour later, eyes red, fury barely contained. You set this up, she accused. Billy looked genuinely angry now. I didn't. Then why? My world doesn't run on good intentions, he said. Someone challenged the expenditure. And you let them? I didn't know until now. She paced. So what? This is collateral damage. Billy stepped toward her. I'll reinstate everything. Immediately. Her shoulders sagged. Why? Because despite everything, he said, I won't win like that. Tears spilled over. You already have. He shook his head.
No.
This is where I lose control. She stared at him, breathing hard. I hate that I need you. His voice softened. I hate that you do too. Her phone buzzed. A message from the hospital. Surgery approved. Proceeding. Her knees nearly gave out. Billy steadied her instinctively, then stopped himself, hands hovering, respecting the space. Thank you, she whispered. You don't owe me gratitude, he said. She looked up at him, eyes blazing. Then stop acting like a savior. I'm not, Billy replied.
I'm complicit.
She wiped her face. This doesn't change anything. It changes everything, he said. You came back. Because I had no choice. That's what you keep telling yourself. Her voice cracked. You think this makes us even? No, Billy said quietly. I think it binds us. She pulled away. I don't want to be bound to you. I know. Then let me go. He hesitated just for a second. Then, not yet. Her heart slammed. You promised. I promised no leverage, Billy said. Not absence. She stared at him, realization dawning. You're not done. No, he said. And neither are you. She turned toward the door, shaking. This is the last time. Billy's voice followed her, steady and dangerous. You said that before. She left, knowing with chilling clarity that whatever had begun between them had crossed a line neither of them could uncross. And the worst part? Catherine wasn't sure she wanted to. Catherine stopped answering Billy's calls. At first, he tried once a day, then every other day, then nothing at all. That silence pressed harder than his presence ever had. Her mother's surgery was successful, but recovery was slow. Catherine slept in the hospital chair most nights, her body permanently tense, her mind buzzing with what-ifs. Every time a doctor walked toward her with a serious face, her heart leapt into her throat. Billy kept his distance. Too much distance. 3 weeks passed before Catherine realized something else had changed. Her hours at the club were cut, then cut again. Her landlord suddenly demanded a review of her lease. A man followed her home one night, not close enough to be obvious, but close enough to be deliberate. Fear crept back in, quiet and insidious. She confronted Billy the moment she was sure. "You said you wouldn't interfere," she snapped over the phone. "I'm not," Billy replied calmly. "Then why does it feel like my life is shrinking?" There was a pause. "Because it was never safe to begin with." She closed her eyes. "That's not an answer." "It is," he said. "You've been protected without realizing it." Her chest tightened. Protected from what? From people who see vulnerability as an invitation. She whispered, "Like you did." Silence. Then, quietly, "Yes." That answer shook her. They met again, not planned, not dramatic. Catherine ran into Billy outside the hospital, of all places. He stood near the entrance, speaking with someone in a suit who immediately disappeared when Catherine approached. "You followed me," she accused. "I was visiting someone," he said. "So were you." They stared at each other, the hospital doors sliding open and shut behind them. "My mother is asleep," Catherine said. "You shouldn't be here." "Neither should you," Billy replied. "You look exhausted." She folded her arms. "What do you want?" "To talk," he said, "without pressure." She scoffed. "You don't know how to exist without it. Teach me." The word landed heavier than anything he'd said before. They walked, not to a restaurant, not to his office, just down the street, past parked cars and streetlights flickering on as dusk settled. "Why me?" Catherine asked suddenly. "Really? Not your rehearsed answers." Billy took a breath. "Because you didn't ask for rescue." She frowned. "I did. I just didn't call it that." "No," he said. "You asked for survival. There's a difference." She shook her head. "You're projecting." "Probably," he admitted. "But projection doesn't cancel recognition." She stopped walking. "You don't get to define me." Billy turned to face her. "Then define yourself." She opened her mouth and realized she didn't know how to answer. "I'm tired," she said instead, "of being afraid, of being grateful, of feeling like I owe everyone something." "I don't want your debt," Billy said. She laughed bitterly. "You already have it." "No," he said. "What I have is influence. What I want is consent." Her heart skipped. "You think that makes this better?" "I think it makes it honest." She looked away. "I can't give you what you want." "I haven't told you what I want," Billy replied. She turned back sharply. "Then say it." "I want to know you," he said. "Without bargains. Without emergencies. Without fear." Her voice wavered. "That's not possible." "It is," he said. "It's just slower." She stared at him, searching for cracks. "You don't do slow." "I'm learning." Something in his tone unsettled her. Vulnerable, restrained, real. "Why now?" she asked. "Because you're pulling away," Billy said. "And for once, I'm not chasing." That hurt more than it should have. The breaking point came a week later. Catherine arrived at the hospital to find her mother crying. "They're moving me," her mother said. "Different wing. Different doctor." Panic flared. "Why?" "They said something about coverage." Catherine's blood ran cold. She didn't call Billy. She went straight to his office. "This stops," she said the moment she stepped inside. "Right now." Billy looked up slowly. "What happened?" "You know exactly what happened." "I don't," he said sharply. "And if someone's touching her care, then fix it." Catherine snapped. Or admit this was all control. Billy stood, anger flashing across his face. I didn't orchestrate this. Then why does everything unravel when you step back? Because my absence creates a vacuum, he said. And vacuums get filled by worse people. She laughed, shaking. So I'm safer trapped in your orbit? No, Billy said. You're safer knowing who your enemies are. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. You're not my protector. I know, he said, but I'm not your enemy either. She slammed her hand on his desk. Then prove it. He met her gaze. Stay. The word echoed. Stay, he repeated. Let me stabilize things.
No contracts. No leverage.
Just proximity. Her eyes burned. You think I don't see what you're doing? I think you see it clearly, Billy said. And you're still here. Tears spilled over. I hate this. So do I, he admitted. But running won't undo it. She whispered, I don't trust myself around you. That stopped him. Why? Billy asked quietly. Because when I'm with you, she said, voice breaking, I stop pretending I'm strong. His jaw tightened. That's not weakness. It feels like it. He stepped closer but didn't touch her. Then let it. Her breath caught. You don't get to see me like that. I already have, Billy said. You just don't remember. She shook her head. This is a mistake. Then make it consciously, he replied. Not out of fear. Silence wrapped around them. Finally, Catherine sank into the chair opposite him, defeated. One condition. Billy waited. If you ever use my mother again, she said, eyes blazing. I walk. Forever. He didn't hesitate. Agreed. And you don't touch me, she added. Not unless I say so. His voice was steady. Agreed. And if I say stop, I stop, Billy said. Immediately. She searched his face for resistance and found none. Her shoulders sagged. I don't know why I'm doing this, Billy said softly. Because part of you wants to see what happens when you're not alone. She closed her eyes. Fine, Catherine said. But this isn't yours to control. Billy nodded once. It never was. Outside, the city kept moving, unaware that something fragile and dangerous had just been set in motion. Something neither of them knew how to end. Catherine learned the shape of waiting. It settled into her bones during late nights at the hospital, during mornings when she woke before her alarm because her body no longer trusted peace. Billy kept his word. The funding stabilized. Doctors stopped hedging. Her mother's color returned slowly, stubbornly, like life arguing its case. And Billy stayed present without intruding.
No surprise visits.
No gifts. No pressure disguised as generosity. That unsettled Catherine more than his earlier control ever had. They spoke in fragments at first. Short calls, necessary updates, then longer conversations that wandered into unexpected territory. Billy asked questions and didn't interrupt the answers. Catherine found herself talking about things she hadn't planned to say. About growing up fast, about learning to swallow fear before it could be seen, about how being needed had become the same thing as being loved. You confuse usefulness with worth, Billy said once. She bristled. You confuse possession with intimacy. He paused. Fair. That balance, challenge without dominance, shifted something between them. The first time she went to his apartment by choice, Catherine stood in the doorway for a long time before stepping inside. Billy didn't move toward her. He didn't offer a drink. He waited. You're allowed to leave, he said. I know. She didn't. They sat on opposite ends of the couch, tension threaded tight between them. Why are you really alone? Catherine asked suddenly. Billy's jaw tightened. I'm not alone. You are, she said. You're surrounded, but you're alone. Silence stretched. Because closeness costs, he said finally. And I've always preferred paying up front. Her voice softened. People aren't transactions. I know, Billy replied. That's why I keep failing. She studied him, seeing not the billionaire, not the man who had terrified her, but someone who had never learned how to be wanted without leverage. You scare me less now, she admitted. That's not comforting. It is, she said. It means I'm choosing. That night, when he touched her hand for the first time, he waited for her nod before closing his fingers around hers. The contact was simple, careful. It sent a tremor through her chest that had nothing to do with fear. But peace never lasted. The threat came quietly. A call from the hospital. A billing review. A name Catherine didn't recognize but Billy did. "This is my fault," Billy said after he hung up. Catherine felt the old dread crawl back. "What now?" "A rival," he said. "Someone who doesn't like losing control of narratives. Or people." Her voice sharpened. "My mother isn't leverage." "She won't be," Billy said. "Not again." He moved fast, too fast. Security doubled. Meetings stacked. His phone never stopped ringing. Catherine watched the transformation with unease as the man who had learned to wait began to tighten his grip on everything else. "You're slipping," she said one night. Billy looked exhausted. "I can't afford to. You're doing this because of me. I'm doing this because someone crossed a line. Because they crossed my line," she corrected. He met her gaze. "You're not a weakness. Then stop treating me like one," she snapped. The argument exploded. Months of tension finally detonating. "You think I don't see how you rearranged your life around mine?" Catherine shouted. "That's not protection. That's obsession." Billy's voice rose for the first time. "You think I don't know the difference? Then why does it feel like I'm being swallowed again?" He froze. The room went quiet. "I promised I wouldn't control you," Billy said slowly. "Not that I wouldn't care. Care shouldn't feel like a cage," Catherine replied. Something cracked in him then. Not loudly, but cleanly. "You're right," Billy said. "And if I keep going like this, I'll become exactly what you were afraid of." Fear flickered in her chest. "So what happens now?" He took a breath. "I step back. Fully."
Nos a dos. No cielos.
Her heart dropped. "That's dangerous." "For me," Billy said. "Not for you. You don't get to martyr yourself." "I'm not," he replied.
I'm choosing.
She stared at him, realization dawning. "You're letting go." "Yes. And if something happens? Then it happens without your name attached to it," Billy said. "I won't make you the axis of my wars." The following weeks were brutal. Billy disappeared into his world. Catherine felt the absence like a phantom limb. Fear spiked, then dulled. She forced herself to breathe through it, to live without anticipating his presence. Her mother recovered enough to be discharged. The day Catherine brought her home, Billy sent a single text. "I'm proud of you, nothing else." That restraint meant more than any grand gesture could have. Months passed. Catherine started a new job, daytime, stable. She laughed more easily, slept more deeply. She missed Billy in quiet ways that didn't feel like hunger anymore. Then, one evening, she ran into him at a cafe. He looked different, leaner, less armored. They stared at each other for a long moment. "Hi," Catherine said. Neither moved. "You look okay," she said. "So do you." They smiled, small, real. They talked. About nothing. About everything. When they stood to leave, Catherine hesitated. "Billy," she said, "if we try again." He waited. "It has to be clean," she continued. "No power."
No rescue. Nos a dos.
"I know," he said. "I've been practicing." She searched his face. "And if you can't? Then you walk," Billy replied. "And I let you." Her chest tightened. "You're serious?" "Yes." She nodded slowly. "Then we try." Billy didn't reach for her. He didn't pull her close. He simply smiled and said, "Dinner." Catherine smiled back. "Dinner." This time it wasn't a transaction. It was a beginning. And for the first time since that desperate night at the club, Catherine Reed stepped forward not out of fear, but choice. If you stayed till the end, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Urban Folks TV, and drop a comment below telling us what you think of Catherine and Billy's story.